the riderless horse of the JCPenney Hunt Club. Now, throughout this tumultuous coming-of-age decade for me, my fleeting preference for the renowned Izod Lacoste alligator did battle with my mother's insistent preference for the Sears Braggin' Dragon. A mythical creature found only in a fantasy world where elementary-aged children appreciate value over image and substance over form. Okay? Sure. Now, sly like a JCPenney fox, though, throughout our youth, Mom always managed to instill in us the value of $1 and hard work. Both Mom and Dad had always taught us that if we wanted something, we had to work for it. You know what's coming now. So, consequently, older brother Bill and I decided to plan to team up and take one of the only jobs that an elementary school kid could perform and still manage to evade child labor laws, the paper route. They don't do this anymore, do they? I guess they do. Maybe they do. The illustrious Countryside newspaper came out once a week on Thursdays and had all of the local dish on world-changing events happening in our suburban hamlet of Palatine, Illinois. Every week, Brother Bill and I would roll and deliver about 200 of these rags to houses in our immediate neighborhood, whether people had ordered it or not. We were instructed by the William Randolph Hearst-like figure that ran the paper out of the garage of his lavish duplex that if we wanted to get paid, we had to go around to these houses once a month and beg people for 90 cents for their monthly subscription fee. It was amazing to me the lengths that people would go to hide from some little 9, 10-year-old kid, paperboy, trying to collect a 90-cent subscription fee. It was total cat and mouse. They turn the lights off, hide under their bed. On occasions when they would answer the door, oftentimes they would say, "I never ordered this," or "Take me off your list." But every once in a while, by the grace of God, you'd get someone that would actually pay you the 90 cents from some change in their couch cushions and maybe, just maybe, let you keep the dime change. But all this effort through rain, sleet, and snow was worth it because we had our eyes on the prize. And the prize was, oh baby, an Atari 2600. Outside of Cinemax, the holy grail of in-home entertainment. The Atari 2600 was a breakthrough in virtual reality, a life-changing device by which friendships were formed and fantasies realized. This majestic system of light and sound came with a single game cartridge that brought all of the visceral reality of the hell on earth that war is into your very living room. Now, I've got to caution some of you folks here, vets like myself, combat vets. The game was combat. Never before had the average citizen been able to be thrust into the belly of the beast. Think Verdun, Dresden, Stalingrad, Hamburger Hill. This was as real as it gets for the 1980s, and it wasn't pretty. At this point, I'd like to take some time to ask any young children, veterans, or faint of heart to leave the room, because what is about to follow is graphic in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. You can almost smell the napalm cascading over the jagged and desolate battlefield, sensing the terror of imminent death, the screams of agony. Now, wait a minute for you flyboys. Dad, now, this might be bringing some flashbacks, some unpleasant memories from them, but just know that you're home and you're safe. You'll be all right. Marvelous game. Anyway, on a lighter note, the next game, we got 2 games. The second game we acquired via our paper route involved a yellow sphere that attempted to gobble up everything in sight while avoiding a quartet of multicolored ghosts. PacMan was not just a pastime in the 80s, it was a window into the soul of the American excesses of the 80s. But we were crazy about it, right? Mom even threw Brother Bill, when he was 11, a PacMan themed party. How cool is that? That's a pretty good time. But, moving on. We had other fun times when we were kids. This is a good one. Man, I'll tell you, This was one right up Dad's alley. Another vivid childhood memory that I have is the Cub Scout Pinewood Derby. The Pinewood Derby is, in theory, an opportunity for young lads to show off their woodworking skills and competitive spirit. For my dad, it was like a flashback to his high school hot rodding days in Short Hills, New Jersey, only this time he could apply everything he learned from his master's program in aerospace engineering. Dad worked furiously through the night, planning, drilling, designing, shaping that block of wood into the perfect aerodynamic wedge, and topping it off with a little Mickey Mouse figure that would raise its arm in victory when it would cross the finish line. Needless to say, Mickey won first place easily. I had nothing to do with it, of course, but it felt good to win. I just hope no classified Northrop trade secrets were used in the crafting of that car. Now, I'm making it sound like we were deprived children, so we were not. I want to make it clear. We were not deprived children, far from it, especially when it came to toys. We had all the toys. We had every toy known to man. We had Matchbox cars, we had Hot Wheels, we had Lego, I had Star Trek guys. We had every single Star Wars figure or product that was ever made during that time. We had it good in toys. We were very solid in toys. Mom would occasionally sneak in, some generic G.I. Joe, but it's all right. You need cannon fodder too. Oh yeah, but this is the real G.I. Joe. We had the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Yeah. Big breakthrough to put a rubber hand on a guy that's going like that. But believe me, Mom was into this. She'd make clothes for these guys. She'd sew little clothes for the guys. The $6 Million Man guy, the Bionic Man. She would do all this stuff, and out of pizza boxes and stuff, she'd make little dioramas for us to play with and all this stuff. No, she got into it. It was really, I don't know.
She made Station 51 out of a milk carton.
Yeah, she did that too. She made a fire station. She was very creative. But, with regard to Joe here, believe it or not, he even bought a Barbie doll so Joe could get a little action while he was on our She did. We had some knockoff Barbie doll. Oh, there she is. Look at her. Good job. I don't know what her friend's doing here, but Ken sure likes it. Now, growing up, all right, calm down. Growing up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, in the thriving metropolis of Palatine, Illinois, it was still nice to have access to all the great culture the big city offered. But we had some local suburban culture too. We had Diamond Fest, you had Labor Day, the 4th of July celebrations. And we pulled all the big name talent, like Rich Coase, the son of Svengoolie, creature feature guy, who ran old horror movies on TV. And this is a great shot, very historic. Now, this guy's a big deal. This is a great shot Mom had Jim pose for with then world-famous serial killer John Wayne Gacy. That's Pogo the Clown. No, I'm kidding. It's not Pogo. That's not funny. It was a terrible thing. Okay, now here, tonight, in all seriousness, we're celebrating a marriage of two people, 50 years together. And, but something we ought to take note of is that both Mom and Dad came from families of long committed marriages. My dad's parents, William Sheldon McConnell and Lily Jo Spear McConnell, they're here, they're holding me. Were married on March 24th, 1937. They raised two boys, Bill Jr. and George, and a girl, Sharon. Where's Sharon? She's here. Here she is. And she's celebrating here with us today. Now here's the Hollywood shots. Nice looking people. Grandpa and Grandpa McConnell were married for over 45 years before passing in spirit eternal in 1982. Another event in 1982 marked the 50th wedding anniversary of Mom's folks, Bill and Myrtle Heerman. A gala was put on in Appleton, Wisconsin by our very esteemed Uncle Bill, who you heard from earlier in the evening. He's here with his lovely wife, Sandy, celebrating with us. And this took place this was Butamore, right? Butamore, Wisconsin? Yeah. His country club up there. We got a little family portrait squeezed in. This is 1982 with some faces that may be familiar to you because some of them are in the room. Some of them may not be that familiar to you, even though you know they're there. No, everybody's aged very well. Cousin Max is here celebrating with his lovely wife Kari and new baby boy Colin. I don't think Colin's here, right? It's too late for him. Cousin Mandy Sharp is here with her strapping husband Glenn. Tom is here. Cousin Tom is here. I don't know. Is Marcy here? Is she? Oh, I didn't see her. I gotta say hi, Marcy. Hi, Marcy. And is Lisa here? Yes. There she is. Hi. Sorry, I've been running around. Good to see you, Lisa. So, all the way from Georgia, right? Yeah. All right. Right on. Nice to see you. And we cleaned up okay too. This was us a mere 36 years ago. We haven't changed a bit, do you think? Okay. All right. But it was really a blessing growing up with a family that was so close by. Uncle Bill was up there in Appleton with Aunt Nisha, Bill, Tom, Mandy, and Max up there. We also had Aunt Sharon and Uncle Kurt and cousins Carl and Greta. They were just an hour and a half north up there in Milwaukee, and I can remember many, many holidays spent with both aunts and uncles and cousins, as well as hitting the Renaissance Fair. We were talking about that earlier. Summerfest, going to Cubs games with Uncle Bill. I think I went to my first Cubs game in 1982, and Uncle Bill took me. I was big. But heading into the mid-'80s, things were looking pretty good for the McConnells, but there was more changes ahead. In 1984, Mom and Dad decided to sell that Maple Street house and build their new dream house from the ground up. Now, this picture, you guys can't see, but pay no attention to the placement of my hand in that picture. I was in junior high, and this was not an uncommon position to find my hand in back then. But here we selected a half-acre parcel in the Highland Meadows development that abutted a nature preserve at Harper Community College. And Dad was sharp to make sure that all the proper zoning permissions were obtained to build the most important component of his dream house. A 75-foot radio tower and a customized basement ham shack. Looked like Mission Control. There he is. Look at that. Launch nukes from that thing. As you might imagine, the McConnells were welcomed again by our new neighbors with the usual greeting. A petition signed by at least 50 of the neighborhood protesting the erection of Dad's tower. The petition was circulated by our immediate neighbor, Rich Trombino. But is he here? Oh, he couldn't make it? But of course, he was unsuccessful in stopping Dad from pursuing his hobby because Dad had meticulously ensured he was in complete compliance with the law. Naval Justice School grad here. He knew what he was doing. And sure, you'll hear tales from the youngest brother, Jimmy, about getting picked on at the bus stop over having the big tower in the backyard and all this. But he grew up quick and he grew up mean. His fists got hard and his wits got keen. And in the end, brother Jimmy got the last laugh by hooking up with Trombino's daughter. True little story. Now, the 80s were a time of a lot of changes for me, too. I was in junior high, I was in a new neighborhood, still trying to find myself awkward, Mom and Dad put up with my heavy metal phase, my ultra preppy phase, and generally have put up with me pretty well for 45 years now. Now, we just talk about the church. We got some church folks here that were sitting with us and everything. A central focus of the McConnell family life was Christ Lutheran Church. Mom taught multiple classes at Sunday school. We generally attended 2 sessions of Sunday school on Sundays and a full service, as well as vacation Bible school, confirmation classes, camping trips to Lutherdale, youth group events, and I even started a church league basketball team that made it all the way to the finals. I think the first year we did it, right? Yeah, we were good. There were some non-Lutherans in there, I'm not going to lie. There have been some recruiting violations, but the atheist could drain a 3. You should have seen this guy. He's trying to convert it. Mom even washed all the guys' sweaty uniforms in between games. She would take them all and do that. Several times I did some church dramatic readings and mini plays with my signature role being Jesus Christ. What an ego on this guy, huh? Yeah, no, I really did. But I know, I tried to do it kind of Zeffirelli-esque, like the Jesus of Nazareth thing. But when you're standing up there and you're 13, it's not compelling stuff. I tried. But I know I speak for Dad and my brothers when I say how grateful we are that Mom was the spiritual rock of the family and instilled a lifelong faith in all of us. I know it's been our source of strength through all of life's travails. This commitment to the faith and the church continues today. Mom teaches what I understand is a wildly popular, highly substantive adult education class. Tune in. It's good stuff. And Dad teaches Sunday school. It was very funny when I heard Dad's teaching Sunday school. I was like, man, alive, it's hard for me to picture, but he's really good. He's good with the kids. He served as stewardship chairman and on the call committee currently, I think, at their church here in Bradenton. And your church is our Savior? Living Lord. Sorry. I knew it was something like that. It always is, right? I go to Grace Lutheran. There's a couple of those out there, too. Heading into high school, the two eldest McConnell boys got to have a real adventure with their dad in 1986. This was really cool. When Dad got quite a few frequent flyer miles from traveling all the time, and he gathered them up, and he took me and older brother Bill on a 2-week whirlwind tour of Sydney, Australia, Auckland, New Zealand, and all around the entire South Island of New Zealand. Now, in 86, you might remember, Australia was like, everybody's crazy about Australians because of this Crocodile Dundee D movie. Paul Hogan, they made like 3 of them. The first one was good, the other 2 were, yeah. But for a while there, America had Australia and Aussie fever, and we were right there in the thick of it going over there. Now, we got to get back to the main topic. I have mentioned earlier in the presentation how important hair has been to the McConnell men throughout the years. The McConnell hair reached its zenith at this point. And as you might imagine, it was a lot to maintain. Look at that. Look at the hair on that guy. And I'm not making this up. I'm embarrassed, Bill, but
It's only an insult if it's a lie.
This is a rendition, literally, of the contents of an entire full-size suitcase that my brother Bill brought with him across the globe to the land down under for this 2-week boondoggle. He seriously, swab conditioner, cheap stuff, but tons of it.
They don't have it down there.
Swab conditioner, swab shampoo. And you know what? It barely lasted him the entire trip.
No, it exploded on the plane.
You think I'm joking? It's really true.
Bottle leak.
And, when we went on this trip, Dad had it worked out that we were going to go and bop around and stay with ham buddies that he had talked to but never met. So we met some interesting characters, And Bill's taking the long shower, using all the hot water, and nobody has any. Because they're like, what's wrong with this guy? He washes the hell out of his hair. True story. But anyway, Australia was fantastic. We saw the Opera House, the famous one. That I think we were at the Sydney Zoo. We met the Weird Hen friends that Dad had made us stay with. It was a really great trip to remember. And, despite being foreigners in a strange land down under, Bill had no trouble fitting in, at least with the local Aboriginal tribes. They shared hair grooming tips and Vegemite sandwiches, and a great time was had by all.
They're very cordial.
Now, New Zealand's landscapes and vistas were spectacular. I recommend you go down there if you get the chance. Dad's weird Kiwi ham friends were most welcoming, if not a bit odd. Now, this is a cool shot. This was taken when we flew to the top of a glacier on Mount Cook. That was neat. I forget what this was. This was like at the base of Mount Cook. We went on this high-speed boat ride.